Hi. So this is my video response to the topic of the month on Project Shapeshift, and the topic was the change in the diagnostic criteria for anorexia and nervosa. And in general, the changes open up the diagnosis to more people, and I believe the two big changes that we were talking about are the removal of the BMI requirement and that it's no longer required for your periods to have stopped. I'm going to start by saying that I myself have never been diagnosed as anorexic or received any type of treatment, so my opinions are really just based on what I've heard other people say and what I potentially think could be the result of these changes. So overall, the changes would mean that more people could be diagnosed as anorexic. This could be positive because I have heard online of people who have been denied treatment because they don't have a diagnosis. So it would enable people to get treatment maybe earlier. But the flip side of that is that if there's an increased number of people seeking treatment, it could overwhelm the resources that are available, and then it'd be just as hard for people to get treatment and services. So I think that the removal of menstruation of that requirement is a really good thing. I think that all of us, women, we know that it's something that's very unique to us as individuals, and what might stop it for one person wouldn't really stop it for another. So since it's not really uniform, I think it kind of makes a poor diagnostic criteria. In my opinion. Plus, young girls can have eating disorders before they start menstruating, and if we can get them, early diagnosis and early treatment, some of them could really benefit from that. The BMI requirement, I'm not really as clear on. Personally, my BMI has ranged from 16.1 to 29.7. So, I've been on all ends of the spectrum. That goes from being, medically underweight to being nearly obese. Obese is 29.9, and like I said, at my highest I was 29.7. So, yes, I think I've been disordered through that whole range, but I feel like it's different. If I fast and restrict, like right now where I am at 25.9, I still don't feel like I should be considered anorexic because I don't feel like I'm in danger. I just feel like your weight needs to be at an unhealthy low to be considered for diagnosis. If someone's at a normal weight or above, I don't really feel like they're anorexic. I guess that's really hypocritical because if two people are doing the same thing, then really they should have the same diagnosis. But in my mind, there's a difference, and that's probably just a personal issue for me. I personally feel like I'm not successful or worthy unless I'm at that low BMI. So I think I impose that same standard on other people. And I think that you can be disordered at any weight, but I really think that the diagnosis maybe needs to be different at those different weights because I think that it's a different level of severity. If you I don't want to say are anorexic enough, because that's so demeaning. But, if you've been in anorexic eating patterns for a long period of time, it's more likely that your BMI and your weight will be lower versus someone like me who I cycle. I was very restrictive for a long time, and then when people started to point it out, I went to the polar opposite. And I said, screw you. I can eat. I'll eat everything I see. And I don't have a problem. And, I was probably bordering on compulsive overeater because I did. People were like, you're not eating. And I was like, watch me eat because I'll eat everything. And then next thing I know, I was almost obese. So, and now, I'm restricting again. So clearly, I'm not anorexic because, I was able to just go overboard, to eat everything, and not just in one binge. For years, I ate everything I saw. Entire gallons of ice cream. I ate it all. And I did that for a very long period of time. So, to me, I think that if I were truly anorexic, I would have maintained a low weight and a low BMI. So I guess, that's why I feel like that is kind of critical to the diagnosis. Because I think that if you are anorexic, and it's not to say that, like I said, that there aren't other eating disorders, but if you are anorexic, I feel like you wouldn't let yourself get in a situation where you would be too high of a BMI. I mean, maybe relaxing it a little bit, but I mean, I don't think that you can be obese or overweight and really be anorexic. I think if you're obese or overweight and are restricting, then you have a different disorder. And that's the scenario that I'm in at, like I said, 25.9, I'm overweight. Almost a couple more pounds, I might be normal. Normal. But, like I said, I don't think that, someone like me should be diagnosed as anorexic, because I don't truly have anorexia. I have some of the symptoms, and I think it detracts from the people who really have anorexia to diagnose someone that isn't as such. So, I mean, to me, it's like, sometimes they find, say, like with skin cancer, you've got a spot, but it ends up being, not cancer. Well, okay, you had an issue, but it wasn't cancer per se. So, I have an eating issue, but it's not anorexia. So now, that goes into a whole other issue of the big hodgepodge that is EDNOS. And I think that's way too generic. I think we need more categories, and maybe not necessarily quite such a broad loosening of a term like anorexia. I think anorexia needs to stay somewhat narrow. And maybe there needs to be, another disorder for people who are, sorry, my nose is running, who are overweight or of a normal weight but have restrictive tendencies. And, eating disorder not otherwise specified is really just a kind of a BS diagnosis. But anyway, this is Elle, and I hope you liked listening to my opinions, whether you agreed or not. So I look forward to seeing what everyone else has to say. Bye.